Hi, good evening everyone. Julia Johnson speaking. Today I want to talk about twisted mothers and how it affects the children. I have two brothers, actually three. One is dead, and he's the third born, and one sister. And it took you a long time before you realize what is going on. It is a mother's responsibility to nurture and to guide, discipline, steer, teach, and comfort children. And it is very important for siblings to build a relationship and to understand one another. I don't say we're not going to argue. I don't say we're not going to do funny or wrong things to each other. That's normal. I don't say we're going to fight, not going to fight with one another. That's normal for children to do. But at the end of the day, we will look past all these things and we will find each other. I can remember I was raised by my grandmother up till the age of 10 years old. And to me, my grandparents was my parents. And I used to visit my mother regularly. So once a year, I would go to my mother and I would stay there for a whole year. That was before I went to school. And then I will come home until my mother come again, and then I will go for a whole year. And then she brought me back. Then I will stay at my grandmother's house. For me, it was really nice to stay at my grandmother's house. But like as a child, you like to be with your mother because deep down, I know she was my mother. But my real parents was my grandparents. And for the first 10 years of my life, they nurture and cuddle and treat me very special. They showed me a lot of love. They bought me shoes, school clothes. I was living under their roof, and they were my parents. I called them mother and father. I didn't call my mother. I called my mother on her name because I know she was my mother, but I called her by her name. So there was a time when my mother moved away. She didn't stay with my with my grandmother, but she stayed close by in a different area, not in the same area that we live, in a total separate area. So she moved away from that area, and her sister told her that she must take me with. I think that was, if I can relive my life, that is a part that I will definitely erase. Definitely. So the day when I go stay with my mother, my whole life was turned upside down. My whole life. My mother was very strict, very disciplined. Sometimes she can be very harsh, and sometimes the older we get, it becomes unbearable. So we all end up with issues. We dislike each other as brothers and sisters because she was openly favored. So me and the one who died, we were close and we were treated the same. And I had to go work at a very, very early age. I was still in school, but I had to go work to find myself. So I was working and I was still in school so that I can eat and so that I can buy my own clothes and so that I can look after myself. Because I think I was 15 when she came to me and she said, and she never bought me stuff. And if she bought me stuff, it was in the for very little because there was never a size in the shop for me. So that was not the thing that bothers me. That was not the thing that bothers me. It was getting worse. I always had to fight, and she did make it very, very clear that there is no space for me in that house because I doesn't belong there. So the children had the same attitude, and there was always fighting, fighting, fighting. So here's the thing about the twisted story. So what she did, she played us off against one another. My brother was a very, very good dancer, the one who died. When he was very young, he could dance. And when he started to dance, he liked to dance like Michael Jackson and he got money. People always throw money because he made all the moves. That was his gift. His gift. He was a very, very good dancer. And that gift died silently. My mother was working for beautiful, beautiful home, furniture. Our focus was not on food, so we always had little to eat, very little to eat. And my father was a heavy drinker. He was not my real father, but I accepted him because as my father, because he was the only father and my grandfather that I know. And when I get older, he changed his attitude towards me, so he became kinder to me. And he always saw the way my mother treated me. And my brother, who died, he developed a nervous problem. He was very nervous. He always chewed his nails. And he started to steal. He started to steal. He went to jail at a certain age. He went to jail. And he was always calling me to help. And as the years go by, we were to the darker skin, and my sister and the other brother was light skin. Very rude. Both of them were very, very rude, but they always get what they wanted. We were the ones who tried to please, to please her. So the one who started to steal, he saw what is happening here, and he also started to steal. He didn't just steal from the people outside. He started to steal our stuff also. But what she did with me was, whenever they did something wrong, she started to yell at me. And when they come in, it's like she was working on my nerves too. I think she wanted to make me also a nerve wreck. I couldn't sleep. I had sleepless nights. And my head would fall out. And I couldn't focus on my schoolwork. And then, sorry, I couldn't focus on my school. It was very hectic. It was very hectic. I'm telling the story as if it didn't affect me. Yesterday, On Sunday, I invite my mother here for lunch. I disconnect myself. I'm going to tell you why this thing did trigger me now again. Not trigger, but I realize I think there's people out there that need to hear my story. Sunday, I invited her for lunch to come here and she and another sister, not a real sister, another church people. I invite them for lunch, and after they eat, they went home, and my mother went home. And when she came home, I told you I had three brothers. One removed himself just like me from the family. The only time we see each other is at funerals. I removed myself now a very long time ago. I moved out of my house, my first house that I had, 2018. And I even cut myself off long before I moved out of that house. I stopped going to them. I stopped allowing them to come into my house because I made a decision. I'm not going to allow them to do to my children what she did to me. I told her my name is Julia Johnson. So this is what happened. I decided to erase all the bad memories. I dealt with it. I healed through it. And I can live with it now. That's why I can speak about it. And we were coming from church, me and my mother. And she said, this morning when she come to church, the youngest is still alive, the youngest brother, and I'm the oldest, the firstborn. There's one before me who died already, who died when she was still a baby. And then there's my sister, she's 3 years younger than me. And then there's a brother between my sister and no, between the one that died and the youngest. He also left. He said he can't stay here. Things doesn't work out for him. So she said the youngest one followed her to church and demand money from her. And I think she just gave him that money. And then she said there's nothing at home to eat, so she's going to buy them something to eat. I said, no, you can come with me. I'm going to give you something. You can have lunch with me. And she said that she had to buy him something to eat. And so she go buy him food to eat, and she took the food and she come with me. And when she went back home, he started to yell. He started to fight. He swear he want more money. So I said to her, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to the police station because there's already a warrant out on him for gender violence, gender-based violence. And I was asked, and that wasn't all. So I go sleep there by house. And he come during the night saying this woman demanding money. This woman must lie for him. Sorry, excuse me. This is his girlfriend. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. and demanding money. And I asked her, but we went to police station and the police was there and he wasn't there. And and she still gave me money. And I asked her, but no, what's the use? What's the use? He's not allowed to get money from you. He's not allowed to arrest you. He's not allowed to swear at you and all these things. So what's the use? You still give me money. And then she said something that made me realize I don't want to be part of this anymore. She said, but all of you is taking advantage of me. I said, all of us, we are then the ones who give to you. And we even give you more than what we get out of you. You see, there was a time that she couldn't cope. And for us as children, it was understandable. We understand the situation. We didn't demand, at least not me. I didn't have the luxury to demand because I was told blatantly I have to go work for myself. The other siblings didn't have the luxury, but when she worked, she liked to buy for my younger sister. She liked to dress her up and make her beautiful and so on. And then the younger brother, so there's three brothers. The youngest is still alive and the one older than him, the oldest one is dead. And he started to become aggressive. So he was 14 years old already when that aggressiveness take hold of him. And he's demanding stuff out of her. And she constantly said, I don't have until they break something or until they become violent. And then she go fetch the stuff. Where she could have given it to them the first time. Knowing very well she is going to give it to them any rate. And I decided I'm just going to become quiet. And I left. And I speak to my sister, and my sister said she saw the same. Now, I told my brother, I'm not going to come down, stoop down to your level. And he and my sister constantly fight. And he swears, and he's ugly, and he's disrespectful. And he is so rude. He lost his son, he lost his wife, they died. That's not an excuse. You don't abuse people because you are in pain. Everybody is in pain. He have no one and nowhere to go. He never had a wife. He was living with somebody. He worked once, and after he lost that job, he got work after work after work. He don't keep it because he feels my mother will be responsible for him until the day he dies. And he's over 40. He's going to his 50s now. Okay. And my sister said, you know what? I was talking to somebody about our mother. And that lady said she's twisted. And yesterday I realized, she don't want this problem to go away. But she want to put you in the fire. The thing is, this behavior went on for so long. For so long. She ripped us off of our youth, our ability to be what we were supposed to be. She played us off against one another. We started to dislike and don't like each other. And when she saw we tried to move closer and try to build a relationship, she immediately intervened. I told my sister yesterday, we can't raise our children the way we were raised. When I was in trouble, I had nowhere to go because I didn't trust my sister. When my sister needed a place to go somewhere, she couldn't come to me because I didn't trust her. And I looked to her the way I looked to my mother because they were very close. And in their closeness, they were talking about me. And they were disrespecting me. And they were using me and abusing me. And when my mother's done saying this, she would come to my house and then she will give me some shoes and some clothes. And that is exactly what she did the other day. When I went from house, she was so tired and she was so ill and she was so sick because she couldn't handle. She can handle and she told us she can handle him. And she gave me a pair of shoes and she gave me a dress. I took the shoes and I put it in a plastic bag. She asked me, did the dress fit? I said, yes, I washed the dress and I put it in the cupboard. And I said, whatever she's trying to do, because she did this with me all the time. Every time when she come from my sister, she brought me a dress and a pair of shoes. The shoes is too big because we don't wear the same size. The dress was also too big because we don't wear the same size and the same type of clothes. I had a whole cupboard full of her clothes. And I had to give that whole cupboard full of clothes away because every time I want to go buy me something that I like, I can't because my cupboard is full of her clothes. So I take that whole cupboard of clothes and I give it for charity to somebody who was needed funds, and I said, you can take the clothes and go sell it. And I started to buy the clothes that I like. I said, the cycle is not going to restart. I didn't tell I'm not coming back. I just told my sister when I'm walking away this time, I won't return. Because I'm not going through the viciousness again. You can make a decision by yourself. Make it up your own mind. The thing that I'm telling you guys now is very, very likely compared to what I did. Twisted mothers is not just destroying your life. They take control of your destiny. She's going around and telling the people that she had to go work because she was starving. And she told me the other day the same story. She had to go work. She was so hungry, she and her husband, that she had to go work for people for food. I said, I know about the time when you were working and we were in school. And you were working and your husband was working and you went because I had to go with you. I had to go with you because you were ironing the people's stuff because we need to eat. And we had to walk back. In the rain, I had to walk with her. Walk with her. I know about that time. And she was telling me there was another time and we were not there and she was working for these people. I remember she decided to leave her work because my father was ill. But he wasn't ill for long. But at the same time that she decided to leave the work, she needed actually that money. But I also know the time that she went to go work for these people, my brother, the one who's not the one who's dead, the one who's not living with us anymore, gave her money every week I, a sister, my sister did the sister, and the one who's dead did the sister. There was not a time that we didn't support in the sister. I didn't always give her money, but I always gave her food. Always. And I was struggling also because I had 4 children. I was a single parent and I had to work for my children. And I didn't work for a lot of money. I had a house that I had to maintain, children that I need to feed and to clothe. But I was still assisting her. She's running around and telling these lies. And my sister said, but there was a time that she was working for the colored people. I said, I know about the time, but she was also working. And also there was a brother in a church who brought her grocery hampers, lots and lots of food. Now she's in a position because she married wealthy. Very, very wealthy. If I didn't have the ability to look after my children the proper way when they were younger, I will assist them now. I am unemployed. My sister is unemployed. My brother, who's not staying close by us, he's unemployed. The youngest one, the youngest one who's working on a nurse and demanding money every day, not once, whole day. He's unemployed, not because he can't find work. He had work, he'll leave that work because he's staying with her. He's demanding money from her every day, and he's the only one to get money. If you ask her to buy her bread, she told you, I don't have money. I still have to pay this and I still have to pay that. She was in an accident. And when she was in the accident, she had to fix her car and she had to fix the car. She don't have insurance. She had to pay for the service of that other car also, who she drives into. And she had to send the car for service. I told you she married again and she married with a wealthy man. So he left her with enough money. Now she's starting with this food nonsense of her again. She wanted to bring division between me and my sister. And my sister said she's not going to tolerate this nonsense. And I also said, I'm not going to tolerate. And she told me now, the youngest one is going to jail now any minute. He's going to get sentenced. And she told me when he gets sentenced, she's going to lock her door for a week. And she's leaving. Because she's going to go on holiday. I said, it's good. I don't mind. I was never depending on you my whole life. I never had the opportunity or the freedom to depend on her. I was working since I was in grade 4 and I was supporting her with the children. I didn't have children, I was still a child. And when I was in not grade 4, grade 6, when I was in grade 7, not 7, grade 8, I lied about my age, me and my sister. And holidays we went to work in a factory and we were supporting her. And when I was in grade 10, I went to go work at the supermarket. And I was working for the whole house. I was paying weekly. And she come and we had this books where you can get food on until you get paid. And she come to the shop and she come and take food every day. End of the week, I went home with shillings. But when she go around, she's telling the people she was suffering, she was hungry, nobody worked for, her, nobody assist her, none of her children look after her. And a week before I went to before my stepfather died, and the lady was looking at me and she asked me, when was the last time that you see your mother? You see, she is, she don't want us there. When she married this man, she locked the doors and she locked the gates and she shouted from inside through the window, what do you want? What do you want? She don't tell the people this. What do you want? Yes, the hungry dogs again at my gate. That's oh God. I was angry, I was sad, and I was in pain for a very, very long time. And I find Ayanla's videos. And I was healing myself, but and piece by piece, because we didn't have psychiatrists that we can go to, because I didn't have the money. And yeah, they only help certain people with certain things. And as I was listening to her videos, I was listening to her story, and I take it one day at a time. And it took me 3 years. 3 years, I don't know how, because I reached a breaking point. I was crying in my cupboard for a whole year. And I was watching her videos,